Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm AYK Swedish Whiskey Girl, and today I'm here with two brothers. It is the big brother and the little brother from Nabraithrean. I think that's how it's pronounced. And of course, I reviewed a few weeks ago the wee brother, an 8-year-old Caol from a refill Hogshead, bottled at 60.2% ABV. And what I love about this idea is that they've taken a mother cask, then they've split it into two. They bottled one as the wee brother, which is that one that I just described, the 8-year-old Caol. And then they've taken the second half, and then they have finished that. This time in a Pedro Jimenez Sherry Octaves cask, which is of course a lot smaller, used to around 50 litres. So you get a lot of kind of extraction of flavours and colours quicker because the ratio of spirit to oak is higher than it would be in a bigger cask. And this big brother, it's bottled at 58% ABV. So they're slightly different, and as you can see, of course, in the colour, they're very different. And the big brother is bottled as a 9-year-old. And I'm of course super excited to try these two next to each other. So it's a brilliant idea, and interesting to see how this change of cask will affect the flavours. From memory, I haven't tried the wee brother in a while since I did the review because I wanted to save it and see if I could compare it. And of course, a massive thank you to the team at Nabraithrean for sending me these two samples. This is just the kind of interesting projects, you could say, that I find fascinating. But we're going to start with having a little nose on the wee brother. It's also quite funny. Don't know if you could see, but the wee brother's in a bigger bottle and the big brother's in a smaller bottle. So I just have to keep track of which one's which so it doesn't mess with my brain. But let's start with the wee brother. It just feels like you're standing on a beach on a fairly cold day and you just get this breeze of romantic maritime saltiness and cold Scottish wind, I would say, which is one of my favourite things. I love when it's windy and I love when it's cold, but it's, yeah, it just has a lovely nose if you like that kind of maritime, maybe autumn breeze. But it also has this lovely sweetness to it. It's almost like a marshmallow sweetness. And then it's also a bit ashy and sooty. More ashy, I would say, than sooty, because sooty to me is darker, and ashy is quite light, like when you can see these little pieces of ash just drift away with the wind, and that kind of dryness from it. Yeah, a lovely nose. But let's have a little taste. Slàinte mhath. A big mouthfeel. The alcohol is definitely there at 60.2%, but it just feels very velvety and oily, but warm oily. So not like clinging to your palate in like a fatty way, but more just like velvety and big, which is a wonderful mouthfeel if you ask me. And it has the ashiness, but it's also like a bonfire smoke in a way. And it has this kind of drying feel, which is kind of the ashiness. Quite spicy, very warming, that sweetness still. It's almost like a pear sweetness now, maybe grilled pears, because it mixes with that bonfire ashiness. Lovely. I'm gonna try the other one and then I'm gonna add water, so it's a fair comparison. So this is the big brother, the one that's been in a PX cask and an Octave cask. It feels a bit almost toned down, which is what you would expect, because I think the sherry influence makes it a little bit weightier and a little bit denser and a little bit heavier, whereas the wee brother, because of the bourbon influence, it just lifts it, makes it feel very light. There's so many flavours and they're so big, but like that ashiness that drifts away in the wind, it just feels lighter. And this one feels a bit more like it would be heavier. It's more dried fruits and fruitiness in this. Still get a little bit of that salty maritime notes, but it's hiding now underneath the fruitiness. The fruitiness is really nice. It's like stewed plums and maybe like dried pineapple. And a little bit of a grassiness there as well. But let's have a little taste. Slangeva. You initially get the sherry influence. Those sherry flavours that you might expect. This fruitiness. But it's really... So that's the first thing you get, the sherry influence. And then it kind of also has this velvety, thicker mouthfeel. And then it kind of twists. So the smoke that's almost hiding underneath the sherry influence is just swapping. So the smoke just grows and grows and grows. And it's the same kind of smoke where it's ashy but with a touch of bonfire smoke. It also has this nose of like grilled meats. So it's a little bit meatier on the nose. I guess it's almost like, because it has that sweetness, the tropical kind of sweetness, maybe that grilled pineapple. So maybe it would be more something like a pineapple meat skewer on a barbecue, because you mix that kind of meatiness and the pineapple. And the sherry influences makes it feel more charry. So more soot on this one than the ashiness, even though the ashiness is still the kind of drying sensation as well. But yeah, more sooty. So colour-wise, the Wee Brother is more that grey sootiness, like that lovely kind of dove beige grey colour, which is just mesmerising. And this is more a darker kind of more red, purplish colour. Lovely. Too lovely. I mean, they're different, and it's really fascinating trying a Caol that's been in a sherry cask, because there's not that many out there. But it's... They're you can tell that they belong together, but they're also very different, just like brothers. And I love the idea. I think it's a brilliant way of also incorporating storytelling into whiskey, and I mean, I'm just a fan of that. But we're going to try them with a little bit of water just to see if it changes anything. I think I would say that the Wee Brother, with where it says at 58, but also with the sherry influence, makes it feel lower in ABV. I mean, it is lower in ABV, but it just makes it feel like, I don't want to say more drinkable at that ABV, but because the Wee Brother has these lighter aromas and this bigness, the ABV is definitely there, and it's almost calling out to you to try it with water as well to see what changes. Whereas the Big Brother, because it has the sherry influence that kind of makes it heavier, brings everything together in a different way. Do you understand what I mean? I think sherry influenced whiskies can afford to sit at a higher ABV easier than maybe a bourbon influenced one because of how the spirit is perceived. But that might just be my personal opinion. I added some water to the Wee Brother, so let's have a little taste of that as well. Again. More sweetness coming out. But still that lovely character of the maritime saltiness with the ashiness. But definitely more of that kind of pineapple juice sweetness. It feels more burning in a way now, like a roaring fire. But the sweetness is also coming out a little bit more. Add a little bit of water to the Big Brother. Also more sweetness. but it's more like an apricot sweetness coming out. It just makes it a little bit more tropical. I think this charry sensation goes really well with the fruitiness. It makes it a little bit more fruity, a little bit sweeter with the water. Let's add even more just to see what happens. If you watched my previous video, you know I have a little bit of a fascination of adding fairly a good amount of water just to see what happens. Now it's almost like a perfume, like a tropical perfume on the nose, because you've just made it, diluted it so much. But still all those aromas are hiding underneath. Almost taking away a bit of the smoke on the nose. Even more fruitiness. The smoke is still there. The smoke's almost more bonfire now than that charry sooty note, but it's still there, especially on the finish. Love it. It still holds up so well if you add, I mean, a good 2 pipettes worth of water. Let's see on the wee brother again. Yeah, the sweetness, you get more sweetness, but it's not overpoweringly, like the amount of sweetness is not overpowering. It just sits so well with that maritime saltiness. Also makes it a little bit more bonfire, I would say. Yeah, maybe like biscuits and marshmallows by bonfire. Because it has this kind of sweet biscuity note, like chocolate chip cookies, and like almost citrus as well. Citrus marshmallows. A little taste. Kind of the same sensation on the palate. More citrus, that kind of marshmallow sweetness, the smoke. And even though I've added water, you still feel, the mouthfeel still very nice. It's that kind of big velvety feeling. 2 lovely, lovely whiskies. And I would of course love to hear if you have managed to try any of these, or perhaps you tried another Caol Ila from an independent bottler. Perhaps a sherried one, and perhaps compared it to a bourbon matured one. I would of course love to hear your thoughts. And if you like what I'm doing here on YouTube and of course my other social channels, I would be absolutely over the moon if you consider using my affiliate links with Master Malt, the Whisky Exchange and the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. All the information is in the description below, as well as links to my website, my Patreon, my Teespring shop and my Instagram if you're curious about that. And of course, as always, a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. I'm so grateful that you want to continue to support me on my whisky journey. I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful day. Slán Skål!